Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Big Breakfast. Druh Farrell is with us here. And Druh, what are we going to today?
What are we going to?
What's our temperature?
Oh, 10.
10 degrees. Look at that sunrise. Druh Farrell, I just learned this. Druh Farrell was born and raised here in Calgary. And who else? What other aldermen are?
The mayor.
That's it.
Dave.
The two of you are the only two.
That's it.
Isn't that? And we have her here, and that's pretty common to go anywhere, to go for coffee and realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm the only one that was actually born here.
Calgary has grown a lot.
Hasn't it?
Yes.
And we are going to chat with Druh Farrell for the whole show. She's going to be co-hosting with us. Tara McCool will be back on Thursday morning. She's suffering away. She's having a really tough time in South Beach in Florida. It's really hard for her down there.
Poor girl.
Poor girl, huh? Yeah, it's really hard. She'll have lots of stories when she comes back. But we're planting trees in the show.
Yes.
We're going to talk about all kinds of things. So stay with us. Druh Farrell and I are going to be doing that. Jeff? And we are here with Alderman Druh Farrell from Ward 7. And Druh, it's just a pleasure to have you with us here. And like we were mentioning earlier, a native Calgarian. You've been in office since 2001?
Yes.
And before that, I did not know this until you brought it. You were in your own business. Tell us a bit about the business.
Well, I was in clothing manufacturing with my family, and I used to make girls fancy clothes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How did that get started?
Oh, gosh. Well, I worked for a tailor when I was in high school.
You did not.
I did, and part-time, and then I just got into clothing. My mother had a clothing store on 17th Avenue, so I made accessories for her store.
And are these you made them or you just sold them?
Well, I may have made one or two of them as samples, but yeah, we used to manufacture. I designed, and
can I hold one up?
Yeah.
I want to hold this one up here. This
my rock star coat.
Yeah, the rock star coat. Tell us about this one.
Well, this is sort of an ankle grazer rock star coat. It's just a big fuzzy
I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Isn't that great? And where was your mom's shop?
It was on 17th Avenue where the Ship and Anchor is.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
In the 80s. So I worked with her, and then we exported into the U.S. mostly.
Is that right?
And my husband did all the exporting, which was an interesting little thing.
Venture.
Yeah.
Now, let's say I want to buy the Rockstar coat now. Can I buy it?
No, you
No,
can't.
you
I mean, I
can't.
do have boxes of the stuff in my basement, but
Look at this
I want other
one.
things. That's a crazy one.
What?
That goes with these little pants, organza pants.
Look at this.
Or you can put a little jacket on it like that, or you can put that on. Yeah, it was fun. It was it's creatively nourishing. Let's just put it that way.
And so you worked with. Where'd you meet the tailor you worked with? How did that happen?
I can't remember. I worked with her when I was 16.
Really?
And gosh, I can't even remember. That was a long time
Where'd you go to high
ago.
school?
I went to James Fowler, and then I went to Strathcona Tweedsmuir.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
What, James? Well,
The Tweedsmuir. Did you like the uniform thing?
I liked the uniform thing. It was easy to get dressed in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look at here. If you look at the TV here, look at the TV here. Look at that.
Oh!
Who's that?
That's very bad.
Who's that?
That's me.
That's
Oh
not
my-
mean. Look at your. That's a beautiful picture of you. What year was that? Grade 12?
Yes, it was.
Oh, look at. Okay, look again. We have to look again. Look at you.
No!
That's a great picture.
I had hair
of you.
down to my bum.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
So this is the tailor years. Is what we're looking at there.
That's actually about the same time, yeah. And then we used to make little coats, very fancy stuff.
Wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't easy sewing. This isn't somebody who just said, oh, I'm just going to learn how to do pillowcases.
Oh, no, and we had sewers, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Look at that. We can't, this is just for heritage now. We can't sell these anymore. You just keep them and hang on.
No, one day I might pull stuff out of a box and get rid of it, but for now it's just archives.
And what was your dream? I mean, obviously your dream now is to do great work in the city, but then was it to be a designer? Was that sort of the...
Well, I was a designer for 20 years almost. And really loved the business, but I mean, it wasn't enriching when it came to social issues, and that's was one of my true interests as well. Urban planning and social justice. So I was always volunteering.
And you got involved in Kensington. You got involved in a lot of committees before you were even in office. What were some of the things that drew you then, or that you were passionate about?
Well, I got involved in the property tax issue, interestingly enough.
Really?
When market value assessment came in, I got a group of people together. We formed a group called the Inner City Coalition, which is, I think, about 50 different inner city communities, and discussed what the impact of market value assessment. That was one thing. Kensington Business Association, Hillhurst Sunnyside, a lot of civic stuff,
And
that was a passion.
Good
so
for
while I
you.
loved doing this, and creatively it was a lot of fun, I found that it wasn't enough when it came to sort of giving back to the city.
And now, were you athletic? Did you do any of that sort? No, go.
No. Actually, the sound of sneakers squeaking on floors kind of scares me.
Wigs you out?
Yeah, it does. But I do scuba diving and cross-country skiing and sort of those
Is that right?
isolated.
Cycling, any of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, we cycle from Jasper to Banff, my husband and I and some friends.
Do know
Once
it.
a year. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it fun to do? We have another
It is
picture.
fun.
Isn't this great? Tell us about this.
Ah! Oh no, you're bad. Oh, I'm
Drew,
going.
there's only one more picture. I promise there's only one more picture. I'll let you sweat over which
There
one it is.
you go. I'm not very athletic.
Look at you.
And if I got really tired, I would sort of get into a van. Our group was called the Pigs on Pedals.
Oh, nice.
So we ate mostly and cycled the best parts.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so good. Okay, well, we have a lot of civic stuff to talk about. Do you want to get your last picture over with, or do you want to talk about civic stuff?
Well, okay, give it to me.
Okay, here's your last shot.
Oh, that
What's
was my
this?
first car.
Was it really?
Yeah.
What's a nice?
Aw.
That's a Pinto, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And there's a little airplane on the antenna. Can you see that?
Yeah.
A little blue airplane.
Did you paint the camouflage onto
We
that?
did,
Pin?
and you can't
You
see
did?
it. Yeah. Oh, yes. See, creative thing again, right?
Who's the guy in the dreamy shorts there?
That's my husband, Tom. We've been together for 25 years. And you can't see it, but there was a hood ornament that was Hercules hood ornament.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, that anybody...
Oh, I feel kind of sad seeing that car.
Isn't that beautiful thing? Well, you know what? Our email question today, Drew, and I didn't tell you what it was earlier because we knew this. We said, what is your first car? So anybody at home, we want to know what your first car was. See if you can beat Drew's. The Big Breakfast at a-channel.com is our email address. We'd love to hear. Tell us a story of your first car and whether you maybe had a Hercules on it or something like that. Isn't that great? We got to talk civic issues in just a bit, though. Is that okay?
Yes.
Even though we're great to hang out with you and look at some pictures. Jeff, and I'm not sure if any of you at home know this, but Druh Farrell, who is joining us as a co-host today, huge hockey fan. Her and Madeline King pretty much brought the Flames to where they were last year, didn't you?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That was the one at the
Go
puck,
Flames,
right?
go.
You remember that?
Well, I had a hard time keeping track of that puck, but I really enjoyed myself.
Wasn't it fun?
Yeah, I became a fan.
It was really exciting. And the Hitmen are doing well this year. Now, I'm going to explain all this. Because Drew, you're not a huge sports person.
No, but I appreciate the intent.
Exactly.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Breakfast. Druh Farrell is joining us with us here. And Drew, what's our high in temperature today? What are we going to?
10.
10 degrees. It's going to be a nice day out. Druh Farrell and I were reading the paper and noticed just inside here it says, locals told to lighten trash load. City sets 5 garbage bag limit. So they're going to be keeping our garbage. We're going to try to keep our garbages to 5. And you're saying we can do better?
Well, most cities in North America have a 2-bag limit.
Really?
So, yeah.
What is now? I have to be honest. I grew up in Edmonton, and if you go to the dump in Edmonton, it's pretty fancy. You're not bringing stuff and throwing it out of the back of your truck. Here, it's still a bit more that way. Is that going to change, or what do you think about that?
It will change. It has to change. Council actually endorsed a goal that we reduce. Right now, we put 20% or we recycle 20% of our waste. By 2020, we're going to recycle 80% of our waste.
Which is
it's a very ambitious goal, and we need to change the way we do things, obviously, quickly.
Yeah.
To get to that goal.
Now, is it hard to change things? I mean, you're in the midst of all. Is that hard to do?
Well, changing things at the city is sort of like turning the Titanic around in a way. But Calgarians want this.
Yeah.
And most of the waste in the summer is yard waste, which is easily compostable, and it also releases methane gases in the landfill. So it's really we have to start composting, and that will reduce a lot of the waste that goes into the landfill. People think it breaks down in the landfill. It doesn't. You need air, oxygen to break stuff down, and it's anaerobic in the landfill. They've actually mined landfills that are 100 years old and been able to read the newspaper. And
Get out.
yeah.
Well, that would just be bad. Okay, you got to get on that, Drew. And you're getting on a lot of things, I know. Tell me about East Village, something you're very passionate about.
It is, definitely, amongst other things. But East Village, the area redevelopment plan passed through council last month. It's a really good plan.
Is it?
And it's created a lot of optimism with the area. And what we need to do now is there's a whole bunch more work that we need to do. We need to come up with a land strategy of where we subdivide the properties and how to pay for infrastructure. Most of East Village is in the floodplain because it's at the confluence of two rivers. And so all of it almost needs to be raised by up to a meter, some in areas, 2 meters.
That means sewage, everything's got to change,
Light
right?
posts, sewage, sidewalks, roads, everything above ground and below ground needs to be raised. Huge cost. That's one of the reasons East Village hasn't developed on its own. If a developer wants to build something, he'll go elsewhere because it's easier. As well, it was one of the first areas where we had industrial areas in the city, and so it's highly contaminated.
Is it?
Yeah. Most of the area is.
So where do you get the money for that?
Well, that's the mayor came up with the idea of the tax incremental financing, and that's used a lot in the States to take areas of blight and areas that really need development that can't do it on its own, and that helps. So you define an area around a community, and then you invest in it. It's sort of giving the loan to that neighborhood and then collecting on that loan through the increase in property taxes over a period of time, about 20 years. So we think that, I personally think that is the only solution for East Village, how to pay for contaminated site cleanup and the infrastructure.
Because that's a lot right there, isn't it?
It's like 40 million.
Wow.
For those two things.
Well,
yeah.
Alderman Druh Farrell is going to be staying with us throughout the morning, and we're going to be talking through different things about our city that we care about. Plus, we're going to have some other interviews. You and I are going to interview people.
And plant trees, I heard.
We're going to be planting trees.
Yeah.
Yes, we are in just a bit. Oh, we also have Drew's picture of her first car, and our question for you is...
Enough with the first car.
Look at it. It's a beautiful car.
See, there again. And I lost that plane on the Deerfoot. I'm sorry.
Did you?
This is probably against some sort of bylaw. I replaced it with a big rubber fly.
Oh, nice.
So when I went real fast, the wings would just start flapping.
Okay, what was your first car? That was Drew's. What is yours? The Big Breakfast Today -channel.com is our email address. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to be chatting, but we have some great prizes for our entries on that. So stay with us for that. Kath and Druh Farrell are with us here. Drew is joining us as our co-host for the day. Tara will be back on Thursday. She is having a very hard time in South Beach. Who's the main guy in Ray? What's his name? Jamie Foxx. I don't want to spread any rumors, but Tara called yesterday, and she goes, one of the people in her group was having a drink with Jamie Foxx. Can you imagine that? I'm just totally spreading rumors at this point, but that's what I heard. We'll get more from her when she comes back. But Kath, we're here to grow some trees. What do we need to know? What is it when we're going to garden stores now? What do we need to know?
You're walking into the garden center and you're being lured by the green leaves because we haven't seen them for 7 months.
Yes.
And we're going, oh, they're so gorgeous and they're so fresh. And we're smelling the lilacs and we're going, I really have to have that. But you know what? You want to look at the trees with no leaves.
I'm not. This is a Charlie Brown tree. I'm not going to buy that tree.
I know, but you are.
Why am I going to?
You know why? Because right now, if you go out and plant that, at least it has a chance of survival. And the reason being is that it's like all the trees outside right now.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at is what the trees are like. This thing has lovely fat buds on it. It's going to leaf out beautifully. It's got a nice straight trunk.
And these are things that are important?
Those are things that, if you're looking for a tree, you're looking for something that you want to grow straight and tall and shade. Think about it. If you're going to plant that beside your deck, you want shade on your deck.
Yeah.
You want a nice straight trunk beside your deck.
Now, Druh is famous for, it doesn't matter what the city's planning, it doesn't matter what they say, we want to put a road, we want to put a building. She's going to say, well, can't we put some trees in there too? Because that's kind of your thing. We got to get trees in there.
It is a bit of my thing.
Yeah. Why do you like the trees?
Well, if you look at some of the communities that we've been planning, some of the newer communities, they haven't allowed for any setback for trees. So in 50 years, they'll look the same as they do the first, well, pretty much the same as the first. And trees are what makes, I think, a city beautiful. So we're actually talking about legislating tree setbacks so that we can get boulevard trees back into new neighborhoods.
Well, it's absolutely essential too. They're air cleaners.
Yeah.
They purify the air.
They cool things down.
They cool things down. They insulate your house. Some of the older neighborhoods where they've taken down older trees, I've had clients tell me that their heating bill has gone up 15 to 20% because they've taken out a mature tree at the front of their house on the north face of it.
Seriously?
Seriously, yes.
And our city forest, the boulevard trees are aging and dying.
Yes.
And we've got quite a deficit. We've got years and years of making up, replanting those trees,
down
about
a tree,
$20 million worth.
You take down the tree, you owe the world a tree.
At least 2 trees.
At least 2.
Listen, these two go, folks. It's not going to stop. Now, if I'm in a newer neighborhood, though, it's a newer subdivision, you say I have to be careful with planting and how deep I go.
That's right. You want to dig a hole, double the width of the pot and double the depth of the pot.
Okay.
Because you want to get lots of root ball around it. You're building your basement.
Yeah.
You're putting the basement on the tree. The roof is really important, but so's the basement at first.
So dig deep, dig wide.
Dig deep, dig wide. Use your fork and loosen the hole all the way around.
Yeah.
Pardon the mud on this. I was digging on the weekend.
Yeah, it's a good fork. Yeah.
And then add some fresh compost. Our soil is heavy clay and rock. So we want to get some extra soil in there so that we can add it in. Topsoil sells at all the garden centers. Compost at all the garden centers.
And tell us about what Drew has here. What's that stuff?
That is a root supplement, and what you want to do is make sure that it goes into the hole when you're planting the tree.
Oh, sorry.
It is what they call a mycorrhiza. It is the same thing as a mushroom almost.
Oh.
And what you want to do is add it to the soil, and then it will come in contact with the root, and it gives the roots extra depth and helps them to get stronger. And a lot of the garden centers now are offering 5-year warranties with their trees and shrubs if you buy this at the same time.
Really?
That's how strong they believe in it.
Is now the time, or is it still too early?
Do you know what? If you can put a shovel in your ground, now's the time.
Yeah.
If you've got trees out there that don't have leaves on them, get in there, get started. But don't overwater. That's the other big mistake. We have this terrible clay soil down deep, and when we water, it's like putting a plug in the bathtub. We put all this wonderful fresh topsoil on top, and then we water it. And the temperatures are still reasonably cool. The leaves aren't present, so it's not photosynthesizing. It just needs a chance to get the root system out. Roots need oxygen to develop, so you want to make sure that your oxygen is there and present in the soil. Pack your soil around it very firmly, but don't go watering it every day. It
How
doesn't
often do you
need-
water them?
Well, you know what? Newly planted trees every 7 days. If the wind is blowing and it's really dry and the leaves start to come out, you might want to water it every 3 or 4 days. But don't go putting a great big mud puddle around it. It's a waste of resource.
And do you just like aim it right down, or do
You don't want to water right at the trunk. You want
Yeah.
to water right out at the edge of the root ball.
Ah.
That's where it feeds from. The root is the foundation. You and I have taste buds. We can taste what we're getting, so we salivate to take things in. But if you water right at the trunk, you're not going to get the moisture to the root
Really?
ball. That's right. And don't pile dirt up around it. Just because you think that's going to help it, it isn't. Pull it away, bury it only as deep as it is in the pot. You've put all this extra dirt around it, but don't be doing that. And don't put huge ties on it,
No.
because that'll just rub the bark off of it.
I don't want that.
Calgary's windy. I don't know if you've seen the Aesop fable, but let it bend in the wind.
See that? You're a smart person. We were going to talk about books, but that's okay. If you want more information on books you can use, email us and we'll send you out the titles that you have. Thanks, Kath. So good of you to come by. There you go, Drew. More to beautify our city. How about that?
Welcome back to The Big Breakfast. I'm Druh Farrell. Here's what's going on in our city. The Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society presents Running Wild on Sunday, May 15th at Fish Creek Provincial Park. To register, visit runningroom.com. The flowers are blooming. To answer all your gardening questions, visit Calgary Horticultural Society. Springtime Serenade Garden Show, April 22 to 24th at the Roundup Center at Stampede Park.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Breakfast. It's 7:59 and 3 degrees, and Drew and I are finally getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Wow.
Drew, who are we? Who's smoking?
Demi Moore, she's
Demi Moore.
pregnant.
Do you think she's pregnant?
I don't know. I don't think she is.
You don't think she's
No,
pregnant?
I think she's too much of a health nut. That if she was really pregnant, she would not be smoking.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think.
So that's maybe not a real cigarette.
Or maybe. Who knows? You never know.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Oh, and we got chocolate. We're cooking with chocolate with the folks from Cannery Row. You hate chocolate.
Oh,
don't you?
yeah.
Terrible. You hate chocolate.
Can't stand
Yeah,
this stuff.
exactly.
women were like that.
We're going to talk all of that in a bit, hitting the hard issues in here, getting ready for tabloid talk. Drew and Tracy, you've been talking all the dirt. Okay, now you brought all the latest magazines,
Yes.
which you're going to look at in a bit, but
Yes,
first, Bachelor.
first Bachelor, we saw My Jenny's gone.
Oh, what was sad,
I was
huh?
so sad. I was so shocked. I loved her. I was convinced she was going to make it through right to the end. Because she seems like a very solid girl.
She
So I was
does.
convinced. And even last night, Sarah W. told Sarah B. that Jenny was in the in the final four girls. So, you know, right from there, I'm like, oh yeah, Jenny's totally going, blah, blah, blah. But now we're down to 6. Jenny's out. He also cut single mom Kara last night. So yeah, they were on a one-on-one date. And when they were out, he's like, listen, you know, if we weren't living in this fantasy world, you know, but you're a single mom with like a 9-year-old daughter. So I just don't think it's going to work. So that was okay. But the cat fights continued. It was so good. Next week looks insane. But last night, we had a little clip that was interesting. After the final rose, the girls went back to the house once Jenny was gone and whatnot, and Krista Lee and Sarah W. continued just to lash into each other. So that's our first clip. So
Glenn's
let's
going to
take
turn
a
up the
look.
volume. Glenn's going to turn up the
man.
volume so we can hear that. Okay,
It
have
is
a look.
good.
All right.
You weren't sticking up for yourself. You weren't having since you've been here. You haven't had your own personality. You haven't been yourself. You haven't been realistic about anything.
Says Crystal Lee.
Says everyone in the house.
Everyone has their opinions and they're entitled to them.
You haven't had your own opinion since you've been here. How can you tell everyone else to have their own when
What
you
would you
can't?
like to know my opinion on?
You're not going to be realistic about it. We all stood at the same rose ceremony that you did.
What would
We
you
all
like to
saw
know my
you be
opinion
upset
on?
and
I
not
would like
say
you to
no one
hear.
knows.
I would like you to keep it real.
I do. I want you to be
Keep
real.
it real. Can we just like drop this? You're attacking me. Stop
This isn't an
it.
attack. It's a conversation.
This is an attack.
You know what this is? This is Ward 10. That's what's going on
It's
right
a
there.
train wreck.
And and next week it looks like it's only going to get worse.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's absolutely insane next week. So that's our next clip. We're going to take a look at what is going on next week. And yeah, it all comes out that Sarah W. told Sarah B. because Sarah B. tells Charlie. Sarah W. claims that she knew who the final four were, that Charlie told her. So let's take a look at next week's clip and the cat fight that continues between Krista Lee and Sarah W. They just keep going at each other. They're crazy.
Okay,
You just really think it can't get worse?
That's next. What's the
week.
big surprise? You know?
I don't know. I know the host comes in and he's like, listen, we're switching it up. So I think he's going to be like impromptu rose ceremony or something like that because that's kind of what they're known for right now this season. But it looks crazy. I think Charlie's going to totally come down on Sarah W. and oh my God. And we know Sarah W. was wrong because she said Jenny was in one of the final four and there's no Jenny.
See
My
that?
Jenny's gone.
Drew, you gotta watch.
It's horrible. So next week, 10 o'clock, it looks so good. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see because, I mean, now we should be down to 4 girls after next week. Now it's getting serious.
Oh, it's really
Yes.
serious.
Yes. We'll have Edmonton Kimberly there, though, the one with the
Good.
legendary outfit. She'll be there for sure.
Yes, both of her.
Yes, yeah.
Let's talk
Yes.
about in the tabloid
In the
paper.
magazines coming out today.
You're in there digging already. What'd you find?
They are so good. Well, Brad finally speaks out. Thank goodness. It's all been about Jen ever since, you know, she kind of gave her side of the story after she filed for divorce papers on March 25th. But they're saying previous, like 2 days before March 23rd, Brad, he was doing a photo shoot for GQ, actually starts telling everybody, makeup artist, stylist, anyone who will listen, basically, saying it's not my fault. I did everything I could, and starts listing off the reasons why their marriage didn't work. And now, yeah, they are divorcing. He just bought a $5.5 million Malibu beachfront home, so he's out.
Are you a Brad fan?
Well, he's nice to look at.
nice to look at.
I can't deny it.
Yes, I don't think anyone
but I like
can.
them a little more manly.
Well, like Dave, right? Just like Dave.
Yes. Okay, what do you
exactly.
got here?
Exactly. Well, we have a lot of good gossip right now going on. Billy Crudup, right here with Claire Danes. These guys have been dating for about a year now. They met on the filming of the movie. It's called Stage Beauty. This was the whole thing with Mary Louise Parker, where she was actually 7 months pregnant when he broke up with her with their child to date Claire Danes. Now they're saying they've been in the clear for about a year. The dust is settling, and boom, they are moving on. So they're thinking they're going to actually get engaged. So they say Billy has the ring, and he's simply waiting for the right moment to pop it. Pop the question?
Drew, how come you didn't do that?
What?
You know, you just been married 25 years. There's no real dirt in your life, isn't there?
Well, there might be some.
Oh, Tracy, could you dig around?
I'll look. I'll see what I can find.
Good.
Yes. We
Okay,
have
another one?
interesting, yeah.
Okay.
Mark Anthony and Jennifer Anthony.
Yeah.
They're saying she's going to be soon professionally changing her name. No more Jennifer Lopez. No more J-Lo. Mark finds that very unclassy, he says. So they have been in great negotiations. Professionally, he wants her name to be Jennifer Anthony. So they've kind of come to this agreement
Shut
that,
out.
yeah, right before they have their first
Gosh.
child, that's when she'll finally take his name professionally and become Jennifer Anthony for all of us to know her by.
What
so,
century is she living in?
No.
Yeah, no, I think it's Mark.
kidding.
He's quite conservative. He's very old-fashioned.
be.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see it all through her dress, through her attire, through everything.
Seriously?
I've done
Yeah, I
him.
swear to goodness. I
Done.
wouldn't lie. I wouldn't
Drew's
lie.
dumped him.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you got?
So now here in Star, we have Matthew Perry. This is his girlfriend, or his ex-girlfriend now.
Gotta get the sticky
gotta
off
move
his
the
head.
sticky off there. This is, her name is Rachel Bison. These guys have been, or Rachel Dunn, sorry. She has been, they've been dating forever and ever, and actually last week I even heard they were gonna get engaged. Hello, now I find out they broke up like middle of March, so, you know.
No way.
Yeah, so there's
Hey,
a
now-
corrective
now-
rumor.
Now, speaking of exciting news and all this stuff,
Yes?
Drew, and you didn't even know that, it's Tracy's birthday today.
Oh,
Did you know it's
birthday.
Tracy's birthday
Oh,
today?
yeah, I'm gonna go on red.
Happy birthday, Tracy!
Oh
and you
my
know what?
God, you guys.
We've been growing these in
You've
the
been
back
growing them. I
garden.
bet you Kath has been helping, right?
Kath helped out.
Yeah. Aw.
What are you gonna do for your birthday today?
Pussyos. Oh my goodness. Well, I've made a resolution that the new year's about me. So I'm gonna work out after work and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Have a little cake tonight after I
Yes.
work out, so that way I can have it with no guilt. So.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, they're beautiful.
Well, there you
guys.
go. Well, have a great birthday. And we're going to stay after all of this heavy news. We're going to talk some chocolate or something. How about that,
that's
Drew?
yummy.
So we've been chatting in here with Druh Farrell, who's with us here from Ward 7. Alderman Drew, it's been really fun so far. You having fun?
I am having
Isn't
fun.
it great? Who knew people woke up this early?
I know it's a new thing for me.
Okay, now, Drew, explain your picture, because this is what was the inspiration behind our email question today. So this is
My car, my first car.
your first car. Did anyone ever hit the back? No, didn't Pintos
No,
blow
no,
up?
we were going to put a bullseye in the back, but we thought that was maybe too much temptation.
What?
It was a standard.
It's
I've never
beautiful.
actually driven an automatic.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the shorts.
Tom's shorts?
Yeah.
Well, they were Madras.
Madras.
They were in style at the time.
Yes, they certainly
Yeah.
And I can see he's been tanning quite a bit.
Well,
He's got that
I
incredibly...
can't really tell from here. I think he had the grow out of a perm or something.
Oh.
was coming.
Very, okay, so this is a
It was the
picture
era. Yeah.
of Drew's first car. So we're asking you what your first car is. We're getting all kinds of emails in here, aren't we?
Yeah.
What's one you found here?
Well, a 1950 Chev. But the fan got loose and went through the rad.
See, now that happens.
His brother was so upset, he left his girl and joined the Navy.
Nice. Bob, we understand. That happens sometimes. Now, this is a 1969 GTO. Look at this. They sent in a picture. Roseanne sent this in, and she said, look, there's a tack. There's a tack right there in the hood. Because, you know, once you get your revs up certain RPMs there, you want to be careful on that, so when you're driving. But those GTOs, they were the fast cars then.
Were they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Now, this one here, I'll show you another one. This is a 1973 Dodge Dart Swinger. And this one here is from Faith. And she said she had to tow it home. When they bought it, they had to tow it home. They paid, how much did they pay? $300 for it. And then she says here, $5 grand.
She just sold it.
Yeah, $5 grand. Look at that. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, we have
Pale
some.
in comparison.
This is
to
what
mine,
you're.
I think.
Oh yeah, nothing beats the camouflage. They didn't show. They didn't show where he crashed the bike. That's my favorite bit there. What are you gonna do? Okay, now Drew, let's talk. We have a minute and a half. Let's do the entire river system in a minute and a half. We had somebody on the show saying that we only have 40 years before the bow's done. Is that true?
I think that's probably optimistic.
Really?
Well, there'll always be water in the bow, but it will likely be seasonal, to do with spring runoff.
Really?
Yeah.
So come fall, we can end up with a dry riverbed?
Well, yeah, late summer, fall would be probably a little trickle, and that has all sorts of implications for the city of Calgary, but certainly for the ecosystem around the river.
So when you're talking to folks at the council, what time frame are you guys looking at?
Well, it could be anywhere from 25 years to 40 years. Certainly, we'll start seeing a decline
Well, I mean,
because the Bow Glacier is receding, and we don't get the snowfall that we used to.
Doesn't that terrify you? It scares me.
Well, it should scare people.
Yeah.
I mean, we treat water like it's free and it doesn't have any value. We just went to a water meter system a few years ago, and the attitudes about water conservation have changed dramatically just
Yeah.
over the last 3 years. We used to squander it, and I think people care more about it. And the whole, xeriscape, planting things that don't need so much water. We'll have to start looking about changing our behaviors before this all happens.
No kidding.
Yeah, but
Well,
we'll still have a city, and we can still support Calgarians with water, with the bow. but
just have
we
to
just
find
have
ways
to
to do it.
conserve.
Okay. Well, then we'll have to do that. Thank you very much. And while we're conserving, maybe we can have some chocolate. Buddy, welcome back to the Big Breakfast. Druh Farrell is with us here. And Drew, what are we going to today?
Chocolate.
We're going to chocolate. It's going to be chocolate, chocolate, and chocolate. It's 10 degrees is what we're heading for. And what are we going to be doing here, Drew?
Eating chocolate. Pretty much. That's what I'm planning on
That's
doing. Oh, it
and
smells so
the
good.
folks from Cannery on Peters with us here. What are we going to be making? What's one of the things we're going to make?
One of the things we're going to make is chocolate chicken. It's from South America.
Really?
It's really good.
Ooh, smells good.
Folks at home, we're sorry about you not being able to be here, but Drew, as your representative, can talk about it. Thank you very much. Now, Drew.
Yes.
Drew, you came on the show under one agreement. She said she'd come on the show if she gets to talk about, East Village and rivers and things are important to her, but more than anything, she said, is there going to be chocolate there? And Peter, what have you been able to come up with?
That's today's theme. We have white chocolate mousse.
Yes.
Milk chocolate mousse. Chocolate-covered strawberries. Strawberry stuffed croissants, which you're going to top with chocolate. We have cherries to dip, strawberries to dip, and the grand finale is our chocolate chicken, which is almost ready to come out of the oven.
Drew, how about this whole thing has been here for you? How's that?
I'm agog.
Isn't that great? Okay, so where do we start? What do you want us to do first?
Why don't you guys try your hand at the dipping process?
Okay, now is this dipping to eat or dipping to set
I
out?
wouldn't eat right away because it would burn. So you're going to dip and put right on the plate.
All right, Drew. This
Okay,
is
you
our
do
job
white
at
and I'll
Cannery
do-
Row.
Okay.
This is our chance to get hired. Is there a system or a technique that works
No,
best?
it's
$6
just,
at work.
just
Yes.
coat
Do
liberally.
you go right up to the
Oh,
top?
I think you did better. Yeah, I think so.
I've seen them done like little tuxedos.
You know what I do? I'm going to get you guys a spoon too, because it's always fun to, after the shell forms on the outside, you can mix the colors. You can put the white chocolate on the dark chocolate on the white chocolate.
No way. You can't do that. There's rules about that, Peter, aren't there?
When it comes to chocolate, there's no rules.
No. Oh, go
What's
ahead.
white chocolate? What's it made from?
That's cocoa butter.
So it really is chocolate.
It is. There is chocolate in it.
Okay.
But it's the cocoa butter's extracted from the cocoa bean.
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like art class, isn't it?
Come on.
All right, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Sorry. This. Oh, look at I got nervous, Drew. I got nervous and I spilled.
You got to give it a little flourish here.
I know. Well, I'm trying to get it to. It won't go.
You're right.
Yeah. See now, Druh Farrell, who's got the flourish?
There's no flourish. Okay, we'll just
Look
give
at this.
a little
What do you think we could sell these for? Drew?
line.
In about 10 minutes, they're
It
going to be
needs
hard enough
work.
on the outside, you'll be able to pick them up and eat them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we'll put these over here. Okay. And then put that right there. This lovely display. I think we should try to sell those. I think we'd make a fortune.
Right out there on the street.
Yes, we would do very well. Okay, what's our next assignment?
Okay. Next thing we want to do is, remember the last time we came in with croissants, you did the glooping.
Yes,
It's-
technical term.
It's time to gloop.
Oh, now I want Drew to gloop this. Why don't you explain to her how proper gloopage happens?
Okay. Well, the chocolate's got to flow evenly off the spoon and just go back and forth like that.
So you get heavily
having this
laden
one.
spoon.
Yes,
chocolate.
heavily laden.
Heavily laden.
All
And
right.
We'll bring that up close so we don't
So
have
we don't
any
make a
nastinesses.
mess.
Oh, come on.
Whoop.
No, that's fine. That's fine. This is very Picasso-esque.
See, it's getting on the plate and
That's
not on
perfect.
the croissant.
It's supposed to act as a plate garnish as well as on the croissant.
More?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Pretend you're going to eat this.
Oh,
There we go.
there you go. Whoa.
Drew just dipped
Just
the whole
dip
thing
it.
in there.
Actually, heck with the croissant. Just lick the bowl, is what I say.
Look at
I
you.
think that's beautiful.
Okay. Now we're
Except-
going to get
Okay.
Dave here on the game, and we're going to give him
What?
the white chocolate. And
Oh.
now we use a microwave when we get chocolate to the molten stage because it's the easiest way to control the temperature.
Okay.
If you're doing it on a stovetop, it's probably going to burn.
Whoa.
So I've always found that the popcorn setting on most household microwaves will take the
Seriously?
chocolate to just the right texture so that you can work with it without actually
Very
getting it so hot
nice.
that it separates.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
I got a little out of control there. But still, come on.
I guess I
huh?
should have said, don't pretend you're going to eat it. Okay.
The croissant, it's like popcorn. Popcorn really is just to hold all the butter and salt. The croissant is just to hold all the chocolate.
And
It's really-
strawberries.
Yeah. Okay.
Other thing you guys can try is the cherries if you wish.
Okay.
So
And then we'll
chocolate's
move on to
supposed
the
be
chocolate chicken.
An antioxidant, right?
It's a healthy
Chocolates?
thing, yes.
It's healthy.
It is, do you know this? Or do you-
Chocolate can be healthy, yes. What I've got out in front are the different stages of chocolate.
I'm
The
gonna put it
first
here as
bowl
decor.
is
Oh,
our,
okay.
our
Yeah.
cocoa nubs. Now this is made from the inner seed of the cocoa bean.
Okay.
Then for the chocolate chicken, what we did was we grinded it up and we added chili to it. Now from the cocoa bean, they get white chocolate, cocoa powder, dark chocolate, baker's chocolate.
And it's all there. Okay, we got to get to our chicken because people want to know what. I'll move this over here. Tell us about our chicken.
Our chicken. Okay, what we did with these. Oh, they smell good. Oh. Okay.
They ever.
Now these were cut in half, and we put vanilla bean down the inside of them.
Whole
because
beans?
Actually, we cut the bean open, we scraped the seeds out of the center, and then we lined the inside of the chicken breast with it. You can just see that little line right there?
Yeah.
That's vanilla seeds.
Wow.
And then we're going to take this and put this on a bed of our tomato vanilla sauce, which we've been making off to the side.
And this is going to be featured this week down
This
at Cannery Row.
will be a feature down at Cannery, yes.
Okay, tell us about your sauce.
This is really, it's a very, very simple sauce. All it is pureed tomatoes, and they're mixed with vanilla beans, whole beans. You can see them right in there. I'll just pull a couple up.
Oh,
See that right there?
Yeah.
Now they stew for about an hour. We add a little bit of brown sugar and a little bit of salt and pepper, just because you want to make sure it's seasoned properly.
Yeah.
And we're going to put that right down like that.
See, now as a designer, you must just see that the look is so
Oh yeah,
good.
it's visual too.
There we go.
Here, I can get rid of that for you if you want.
Well, thank you.
Sure. Look
Now,
at
do you
that.
guys want to try and have a taste of this?
Oh, I couldn't.
have an
Oh, I
implement
just couldn't.
here?
I'll get you forks.
Oh,
In my little handy dandy.
It wouldn't be
fork.
breakfast television if we didn't eat breakfast.
Exactly. Here, Drew. That's for you, and you and a knife. That'll do. I'm just going through all our array of accoutrements
I'll
here.
cut a couple.
Yeah, would you?
Yeah.
And tell us a bit about, while we're looking at that, while we're cutting, tell us about your desserts over here.
Okay, well, the spiral sugarwork is something we've become known for. It's a bit of a signature.
good?
You know what I like?
What?
That.
So you'll be down then. We'll be seeing you tonight. Table for two.
Isn't that great? Okay, and look, folks, don't forget, if you email in with your car question, the folks from Cannery Row, your first card, story, or picture, the folks from Cannery Row, we're giving away $50 to go and see them. And when will this be available down there?
This will be available this evening.
Is that ever good?
Oh, it's
Good.
yeah, it's lovely. It's unusual, but very nice.
Isn't it good?
It's
We're
a
going
bit
for
spicy.
break. How are you ever going to pick a winner? How are you ever going to do that, Drew?
Well, I don't know. There seems to be a lot of them. We've inspired.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Can we show your picture one more time? Come on, one more time. It's a great picture.
And then that's it. I'm burning it.
Yes, that's
And-
it. This is a picture of Druh Farrell's first car with her husband. Were you guys married yet?
Well, we're not really married. We've been living together for 25 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, good for you guys.
Yeah.
And so this is your, what year was that Pinto, do you know?
I just don't pay attention to those sorts of things.
Now, I'm guessing it was a 74.
It was originally.
Totally made that up.
I don't even know. But it was originally aqua.
Really?
But it was aqua and rust, so it was like a big bruise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
So
like it.
we
what
had to
we
do
did
something.
is we said, all right, email in with your first car. And we've been flooded with them here. What do you got?
Well,
Do you have
this
any
one-
you like that you want to pick, or do you want to just dig and pick? 'Cause
Oh,
we can
dig and pick. There
all
are a
right.
lot. I haven't read them yet.
Okay, well then here, just put them all in a pile. Give them all over here. And then what we'll do is we'll just flip around. Somebody,
Yeah.
there, put all those in here. Okay, you dig in, find one. This one here, this person.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
got bad mojo from that one.
Oh,
Okay.
This is the better mojo
This
here.
one.
Okay, this one here. This is from Kevin, who said a Suzuki Forza.
What's that?
I have no idea. 3 cylinders and 1 liter of raw power.
Exotic.
Well, congratulations, Kevin. You are going to get tickets to go, or you're going to get $50 to go down to Cannery Row, plus a beautiful St. Ives gift basket. Druh Farrell joining us today. What a lot of fun you
I
had.
had fun.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's good of you to be
Getting
here.
up at 5 was unusual.
That's very politically correct of you to say. We're looking forward to more great things from you in City Hall. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We're going for a break of about 22 hours, and we'll be back at 7 o'clock tomorrow with City Lines coming up.